Hi, everyone. Welcome. We're really excited to talk with you all today about Indoor Air 2024, which is coming up. I'm Karen Dannemiller. I'm an associate professor at Ohio State University and the conference president. And Elliot, I'll let you introduce yourself.
Yeah, thanks, Karen. I'm Elliott Gall, an associate professor at Portland State University, conference vice president, and the technical program director for the conference.
So today we're going to be going over some of the insider tips and tricks for the conference, talking about a lot of the things that are happening at the conference, both the technical program, the social program, also just other information about things that'll be going on, helpful tips and things like that. We're going to be happy to take questions also during the presentation. Please feel free to put them in the chat and we'll take a look at those, and we'll also be able to hang around at the end for questions as well. So we're so excited you're all here today. We're even more excited to see you in Honolulu in a little bit. And I think we can go ahead and get started. All right, so first we wanted to recognize the organizing committee for this conference. It's been a lot of people who have contributed to making this a success. So as I mentioned, I'm the conference president. Elliot is the vice president and technical program director. Richard Shaughnessy is the vice president of conference planning. And we also have the team at the Indoor Air Institute, which is the formal sponsor of the conference, Seema Banger, Glenn Morrison, and Brett Singer. And our remote track coordinators, which are Urban Luong and Pavel Mishjol. And we also have a lot of other people who have helped in many other roles, including arranging lunch sessions, the technical chairs, the session chairs, International Scientific Review Committee, student helpers, and many others who have helped throughout the process. So thank you to everybody. And we just wanted to make sure that everyone who's helped has been acknowledged. And we'll talk a little bit more about some of those folks as we move on as well. All right, so again, thank you for participating. We really have a pretty amazing group coming to this conference. We have people who are presenting, sponsors, as well as any other participants who are coming. And pretty much everybody coming to this conference is what's going to make it really memorable and great. Today, we're going to talk about several different topics. We're going to talk a little bit about conference history, the location, the conference app and platform, the schedule, as well as session information. We'll also talk about the social program, food, recommendation for presenters, as well as some other information as we go through the presentation. Again, if you do have questions, feel free to just stick those in the chat and we can address them as we go, and also potentially at the end. All right, so this is the 18th Indoor Air Conference, which is really exciting. So this has been a long series of conference that typically occurs every other year at this point. So the next one is expected to be in 2026. And this is the flagship conference of ISIAC. Which is, really great to be able to bring that community together. So ISIAC has two different conference series, Indoor Air, which is their global conference, and then also Healthy Buildings conferences, which are more regional. We are expecting about 850 plus total participants at this conference, which is really exciting. Over about 750 of those are in person. We also have close to 100 who are registered for the remote track at this point, which is really exciting. We'll talk a little bit more about remote track registration, but that is actually still open, so people can continue to register for remote track if they would like to attend, and there's no late registration charge for that, which is really great. So far, we already have also 40 plus countries represented, so this really is going to be a global event, and we're really excited to welcome people from around the world. So the theme of this conference is really sustaining the indoor air revolution. And this recognizes the point in time at which this conference is occurring, that this is really this important point when the world has really recognized the importance of indoor air quality, both in the wake of the pandemic, as well as in the wake of during climate change and wildfires and everything else going on. So it's a really important time to bring our society together, and we're really excited. You can take a look at the conference website if you want to hear more about that. But just a recognition that we're really at this critical juncture. So think about the conference theme as you come, and really, what are the big things that you're thinking about? What are the big things that you see as, coming up in the field, and be listening for what others think. And it's really going to be a great time to come together and all talk about those important issues. So we're also really excited about the conference location. So this is going to be at the Hawaii Convention Center. And this location was selected for multiple reasons, but one of the reasons is actually its open air design. So it's really going to be beautiful to take advantage of the favorable climate year round in Hawaii, that actually the floor spaces in the convention center are actually open to the outdoor air, which is really great. And it has a lot of natural ventilation. I'm sure many in the community here could talk a lot about the, the ventilation. So you have to let me know when we get there what you all think. And it also aligns with sustainable and eco-friendly practices in terms of what the convention center does and how they operate, which is really great. I did want to mention, if this is really great for if anybody is concerned about viral transmission. We are happy to have this open air convention center. We're also a mask supportive community, so feel free, if you do want to wear a mask, that is, definitely something we're supportive of. It's totally up to you. And many of our actually all of our social events are either outdoors or in like an open air space. So we're happy that we can support that as well. So here's a map of the main convention center floor. Most of our events are going to be occurring, most of the breakout sessions and lunch and the poster sessions are all going to occur on this third floor. You'll see a set of escalators right here, and these escalators will go up to the fourth floor, and that's going to be where our ballrooms are. So if you see something that's in ballroom A or B or C, that's going to be up on the fourth floor. And actually the ballroom B is our main plenary and main session space. So any of the main sessions are actually going to occur up on the fourth floor, and our opening reception is also going to be on the foyer with access to the rooftop also up on that fourth floor as well. So when you get to the convention center, come up to the third floor. Registration desk is going to be located right here by these escalators. You can check in and get yourself oriented. You can see some of the other rooms. So a lot of our session rooms are really centered around this main hallway, where you'll also be able to chat with the sponsors for our conference, and also where you'll be able to grab lunch too. So of course, the Hawaii Convention Center is located in beautiful Honolulu, which is just an absolutely fantastic vacation spot for many people to enjoy, and a place that hopefully people will also be able to take advantage of while we're there. So it's a really fantastic location, and I'm really excited. And some of our social events are going to take advantage of the nice area and the nice location in Honolulu as well. I wanted to also remind everybody, hopefully at this point you've booked your hotel, but if you haven't, please do so as soon as possible. We're beyond the point where we have guaranteed rates for these hotels, but we are, many of these hotels are still honoring that rate. It's just going to be on a case-by-case basis. So you'll need to contact them and see what the current rates are. But many of them are still able to honor that rate, which is good. I would just call as soon as possible if you haven't booked your hotel yet. We have three really great options: the Courtyard Marriott, the Ala Moana, and the Hilton Hawaiian Village, that each have different, depends on the feel that you're looking for. The Courtyard Marriott is, right in downtown Waikiki, great access to shopping and activities. The Ala Moana is a very short commute to the convention center, which is really great. And the Hilton Hawaiian Village is right next to the beach. It's more of a resort type hotel. And some of our evening social events will be located at the Hilton Hawaiian Village as well. So definitely take a look at the hotels if you haven't booked yet. I'd recommend doing that as soon as possible. I've also included some maps of the hotels here, so you can see the convention center is right up here. The Ala Moana is very close to it. The Hilton Hawaiian Village and the Courtyard Marriott are each about a 10-minute walk plus or minus to the convention center as well. So really not located that far away as well. When you come into the airport, it's Google Maps will tell you it's about a 17, 18-minute drive to the hotel. Depending on the time with traffic, that can take up to 40 minutes. So I just wanted everybody to be prepared for that. So if you do happen to land when there's a lot of traffic, it can take a little bit longer than this, but it's really not that far away. I saw a question come in the chat as well. Are the slides going to be available for distribution? Yeah, we're happy to share the slides. And this presentation also will be posted online on the ISIAC website following this event once the video is formatted and everything. All right, so another note about the location. It is going to be hot. So temperatures are going to be in the mid to upper 80s in terms of Fahrenheit. And the lows are going to be kind of in the mid 70s. So definitely be prepared. It is going to be a hot location. And as I mentioned, many of the areas are open air. So for example, in the convention center, that kind of hallway main meeting space with registration, that is also definitely going to be open air. So just be prepared for these temperatures as you're packing and think about that. I also think it's going to be, it's probably going to be pretty beautiful, but just be prepared for the temperatures as well. So overall, we have one of the helpful things to think about planning for this conference is going to be this session overview document. So when you think about where you want to be on different days, you can go ahead and refer to this overview document. And we also have the detailed session posted that Elliott's going to talk about in a little bit. But you can see on Sunday, we have events like masterclass, as well as some additional meetings that may be relevant to you, depending on what you are involved with. The opening ceremony starts at 5:30, and that is going to be followed by a reception starting around 7 o'clock. And that reception is going to be beautiful. It's going to be in that 4th floor foyer area with access to the rooftop, and that's going to occur right around sunset. So that should be absolutely beautiful. Great way to start the conference in beautiful Honolulu. On Monday, usually we start with you can do a Diamond Head hike on your own. For that hike, we'll talk a little bit more about these later, but you would arrange your own transportation and you could go do that on your own. Breakfast is generally going to start around 7:30 each day. That is going to be a light breakfast. I'll talk a little bit more about that later, with the plenary starting right on time at 8:30. So definitely make sure you're there in your seat at 8:30, ready to go, because if you're a little bit later, we'll already be talking, things will already be happening. We'll have a short coffee break and then morning breakout sessions, lunch at 12 o'clock. Each day we have a different lunch event, and I'll talk a little bit more about those as well. We have poster sessions on Monday, Tuesday at 1:30, and then additional afternoon sessions later than that. And then eventually followed by the evening social events, and we'll talk a little bit more about each of these as we go a little bit later in the program. Everything is going to conclude on Thursday with our closing ceremony. We have some really great remarks happening at that ceremony. Really excited to hear from Richard Corsi as well as Carrie Kinney at that closing ceremony, and that will end at 4 o'clock. All right, Elliott, I will go ahead and turn it over to you.
Okay, thank you, Karen. So I think you did a great job giving the schedule overview, but I would recommend, I refer to this schedule all the time. I have it bookmarked and I go back to it, and it's sort of my playbook. So I'd really recommend having this handy at the conference. And if you ever forget when the general things start, you can quickly get a sense of the general place you should be to be engaging in the conference. Okay, next slide, please. So registration is one of the first things you're going to want to take care of when you arrive. Karen showed that nice map of the convention center. Registration will happen on the 3rd floor and essentially be open for functionally the duration of the technical content, primarily of the conference. So pretty much any time you can take care of registration at the 3rd floor of the convention center. Next slide, please. So as we get a little more into planning your indoor air event, we want to talk about some of the tools that we've tried to create for y'all to be able to put together your conference both in advance and while you're there. So maybe go ahead and, I think that's a video there, Karen. You go ahead and play that. That can just run while I'm talking. So we have an app called FeedLoop. Hopefully by now, many of you are familiar with FeedLoop and have engaged with FeedLoop. I think for the experience that you all will have, I think this is going to be a really nice tool. So FeedLoop manages our conference and the content. It also has an application that you can sign up for by searching in your app store. Use your attendee portal username and password. So this is the same password that you've been using to access FeedLoop previously. And you'll see you can download an app and log in, find our event, and now you can start seeing all the content that the conference will have. So these are some of the actual sessions, workshops, symposia that are going to be present at Indoor Air 2024. And you can see this user is trying to build out a schedule. It's letting them know of conflicts. They can search through. There's lots of things to explore, venue map, the chat feature in there that will let you discuss with other attendees, different things, where you're going, meet people. I really think this is going to be a nice tool. We'd encourage you to start exploring it on July 1st. Some of the details in the back end are still getting built out. Not going to hurt anything if you go in there right now. You just might see some, some things that are sort of placeholders and things. So July 1, follow that QR code, download that app and start exploring. That's going to be a great way to interactively build out your schedule, learn about the conference, and just keep it with you on your phone there. All right, next slide, please. We have some other tools available. If you're not comfortable using an app, or for whatever reason, you want to get down into the details right now. So 3 general tools that we have to help you plan your schedule, all available at the Indoor Air 2024 website. So there's a link and a QR code there to the specific page that will let you see these 3 pieces of information here. We've already looked at the broad schedule. There is a little bit more detail on a PDF in addition to that sort of 1-pager overview of the entire conference. In the middle there, I have a screenshot of the detailed schedule overview, which we'll go over in a moment. Available July 1st, we'll have everything in one PDF. It's the same content from the detailed scheduled overview in terms of, who's presenting what, when, just available in a single PDF. And if you're more comfortable using that format, that'll be available for you very shortly. But again, all of that information exists in the detailed schedule overview, which is a Google Sheet, which we'll look at in a moment. Next slide, please.
Elliott, we have a question in the chat.
Yeah.
Does FeedLoop work only on Apple products?
I believe it has an app for both Apple and Android.
Yep. Yes, that's correct.
All right, so I won't go back over this. Just again, reiterate, I really think this is a great sort of one pager, keep you where you need to be at the Indoor Air Conference. Again, I use this basically every day to remind myself, yes, sessions start at 10:30. So say to sessions start at 10:30 if I'm writing something about sessions in the morning. Okay, so make sure you have this available to you in some form during the conference. Next slide, please. So hopefully folks here have looked at this Google Sheet. If not, please go check it out. The Google Sheet is linked on the QR code. It's available via the conference website. It should be pretty, by now, I think we've all used spreadsheets in some form or another. It's just a spreadsheet, but it lays out track by track all of the presentations that are going to take place both in the in-person conference as well as in the remote conference. I could give my 10-minute talk at Indoor Air about all the little Google Sheet and Microsoft Excel tips and tricks I've learned in planning this conference. Control H is a nice Google Sheet trick. If you're not familiar with that, we have outlined it here in this README, but Control H searches across all tabs in a spreadsheet. So it's quite a handy way to look across the whole conference for things you're interested in. So that's our recommendation of how you use this Google Sheet is anywhere in the Google Sheet, type Control H, type what you're looking for, and our friends at Google will help you find what you need. Okay, so we can look at that in a little more detail in a moment. Next slide, please. So this is an example of what that Google Sheet looks like. And again, this is going to get formatted into a PDF ready by July 1. So if you're more comfortable just scrolling through a PDF, it'll be available shortly. But what we've done in this Google Sheet is just map out track by track. So this is a tab in a Google Sheet for air cleaning and filtration track, the Tuesday AM and PM sessions. So you see the titles, the presenters. The submission code is there mostly for us, but some of you have gone back and searched for your content in Feedloop using that submission code. You don't need to worry about what the submission code is, but this should help you look for the content that you want to see. So this is built out and essentially final, though things might change in the coming weeks if people, can't come, or you need to make some very, very final changes. But at this point, you'll see session names, session chairs, lead presenters, and full co-author lists all in the Google Sheet. So you really should have all the information you need to say, I want to see all the presentations in Karen Dannemiller's group. So you could search on Karen Dannemiller, find all of her group's presentations, and make sure you put all those in your schedule, which you should. But that's how we recommend you might use this Google Sheet. Okay, next slide, please.
Search Dannemiller and Gall.
That's right. Yeah, you're gonna have a great conference then. Yeah. Okay, so a little bit more about remote. I really want to give a big shout out to Irfan Luhung and Pavel Mistal, who came on and really, and also Brett Singer, who had the vision to make sure we had a robust remote session. And I really am thrilled at how this has worked out. So these are their own tabs in the Google Sheet. The remote schedule essentially looks like a series of presentations prior and after the in-person content for the Hawaii-based conference. And so these are going to be pre-recorded 10-minute presentations with time for live Q&A that happen again before and after the main in-person conference. So we've had great response to this. We have filled out the podiums each day for this, and we have a lot of virtual posters as well. So this content is available to the in-person attendees. So if you're attending in person and while you're wake up early, or while you're getting ready, tune into these. If you're just relaxing after and just want to kind of listen to some more content of what your colleagues from around the world are doing, great chance to just engage before and after. There will also be pre-recorded 3-minute videos that go along with the remote podiums that will be posted online.
Remote posters, right?
Yeah, remote posters. Yeah, virtual posters. Yes, sorry. And our remote attendees will be able to access some of the in-person content as well. So that's why this agenda is broken out with a series of talks. This is in the morning here. This is the main conference. So remote attendees will be able to view plenaries, what we're calling a feature track each day. So one of the in-person podiums will be broadcast live. That's our feature track in the morning, our feature track in the afternoon, and then we'll rebroadcast the plenary for those who might be in other time zones so they can watch it. So we've really tried to do a robust job of integrating coherently the remote and in-person content in a way that is synergistic and gives everybody a chance to interact and see each other. And we really are excited about how this is going to unfold. We think it's a really nice integration of remote and in-person. Okay, next slide, please.
Absolutely. And we have a question about the submission code for the file submissions. Yes, that's true. The submission code is also your abstract number or abstract ID. So it is also really, really helpful if you could put that on your file name. So we make sure that your file ends up in the right spot. So thank you for that question.
Yeah, thanks. If you can do that, that's helpful. We will be able to associate it without it. So if you, for whatever reason, forget that, or somebody asks, it's not crucial, don't stress about it. But yeah, great. All right, so we are so good at this. We have actually a list of 7 tips. We had a bonus tip for you. So you're here. It's not just 6 tips for building your schedule. This is exciting. We're going above and beyond, and we're giving you 7. Or we forgot to update the title of the slide, one or the other. I don't know. So anyway, just sort of to reiterate, 6 tips for building out your schedule, right? So we have in a Google Sheet right now all the content for the in-person podiums and posters. We have 12 technical tracks. You're probably going to want to peruse each of those technical tracks that you're interested in and just see what's there, right? Get an overview of who's coming and what they're talking about. Like we mentioned, Control H, you're going to want to get those Dannemiller presentations on your agenda. So whatever you're interested in, right? Think about not obviously the people, but topics. So if you just love HEPA filters, type in HEPA filters and see who's talking about HEPA filters at the conference. We have a really great list of workshops and symposia, which we'll just look at briefly in a moment. We have 12 symposia. So these are a series of talks that are aligned to special topics. So more like podium presentations, but all arranged around a theme. We have 13 workshops planned that are more interactive sessions, again, aligned around a special topic. So make sure to check those out. Those are, there was a call for workshops and symposia and our community responded. So this is essentially, cutting edge issues that are of interest and in demand within our community. So there's a good chance that you will be interested in that content as well. I already mentioned the remote content. Again, as an in-person attendee, you have access to all that remote content and vice versa. Remote attendees have access to select in-person content. So that's, again, happening before and after the main in-person events. There's also great lunch sessions, which we'll talk about in a moment. So during your lunch, obviously, you can unwind and relax a little bit, but you can also attend some really interesting content. We have what are called innovation network meetings happening at 5 to 6 p.m. So, we have the main technical features in our plenaries and technical tracks. We also have these lunch sessions, and then Monday from 5 to 6 p.m. is a chance to get involved in what are being called our innovation network meetings. So this is the launch of a new format for engaging with an ISIAC on special topics. So this is the beginning. It's a great time to come and get involved. I think in the past, the STC meetings maybe have been confusing to some as to who goes to that, am I allowed, what goes on. We'll talk about that a little bit more. Essentially, again, a group of people who want to work on a specific topic within ISIAC. And this is the launch of sort of reimagining what that looks like. So come check it out. Whether you're late in your career, mid in your career, early in your career, everyone is welcome to participate in those. And then finally, Karen mentioned that, we're in Hawaii. We really hope you get a chance to enjoy Hawaii. We've integrated much of that into the conference and some of our social activities that are happening before, like a fun run, and after, like the luau and indoors go out. So really make sure you take a chance to participate in those. Going to a conference is a lot, but I think you get a lot out of, attending those social events and enjoying spending this time with your colleagues and hopefully friends that are attending the conference as well. All right, next slide, please. All right, so, a lot of people, as Karen mentioned, made all of this planning happen. And I want to specifically acknowledge technical chairs who responded to a call to help try and figure this all out. So these people joined early on in trying to create the technical tracks, create the content, review the content, set up that process. These were folks who, at least for a while, were down in the trenches of Feed Loop with us. And we really appreciate their contribution to the conference. We want to just take a moment and show their names, and we will do so again at the conference as well. All right, next slide, please. In addition to that, we have session chairs. Again, the technical chairs mentioned, as well as our International Scientific Advisory Committee. So I mentioned session chairs are the folks you'll see at the front of the room managing our sessions. If you are a session chair and on this call, hopefully I'll see you again on Monday. We have an overview and some information for you in another webinar. Technical chairs already mentioned, and our International Scientific Advisory Committee are the folks who helped ensure the high quality technical content folks have come to expect from our conference, folks who engaged in the peer review process. So a huge thank you to all these people who have helped make the conference happen.
And I absolutely wanted to add to this list, of course, the student helpers who have already helped a lot with a lot of getting the content in place, as well as the lunch event planners, Andy Hoisington, Sarah Haig, and Rita Lamb. So yeah, really appreciate everybody.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so I'm not going to go through this table, but I just want to highlight, here that we have a great list of symposia that I already mentioned. So these are organized by folks in the community who had a thought of hosting a special series of talks on a specific topic. These are integrated into the detailed program with a description of what's going on, as well as a list of speakers. And so go check these out and make sure that they're on your radar. You know, a couple that really jump out to me is I'm really interested in the chemistry that's going on in our community. And I really appreciate Clara's work on making a whimsical title. This is an abbreviated title. The start of her title was Fantastic Chemicals and Where to Find Them, which I thought was a great symposia title. The one right below that interests me right now. I'm on the West Coast, so I got up early for this webinar. So bedroom environment is looking real appealing to me right now, sleep quality. But also going to be a great content at the conference as well. I think an underappreciated microenvironment for our community, where hopefully we're spending 8 hours a day. So some really great symposia there to check out. Next slide, please. Now workshops are a little different. Some of them may run as more similar to series of talks, but many of them will be more interactive and have different formats. And we've sort of given free rein to our organizers to run these workshops in a way that they think will be engaging, dynamic, interactive, and all those great things. So again, check out workshops. I think there's going to be some really interesting ones. Andrea Farrow is running a workshop on community engaged research that I think is going to be really important and timely. Similar, this indoor chemistry of far UV. I know there's a lot of excitement around that technology. Karen already mentioned, disease transmission indoors is obviously a huge issue. And I know there's going to be some great speakers at that indoor chemistry of far UV workshop. So again, go check these out. I think they're going to add a lot to the conference, and they likely will add a lot to your conference experience. All right, next slide, please. Okay, so one of the features of our conference is our list of plenary speakers, and we are thrilled about the group of people who have agreed to come talk and share some of their experiences and thoughts in more depth. So our plenary speakers are going to kick off each day of the conference on a special theme. So I'll just go through it real quickly because we want to make sure that everybody's excited for these special speakers. Now, In Shu, who's the current president of VISIAC, is going to kick off on Sunday with our opening ceremony. And she'll share some thoughts about the state of VISIAC and the conference itself. We also have what are called the Academy Awards happening that are hosted by Yinping Zhang and Shelley Miller. So we'll present some of the awards that VISIAC will bestow upon our esteemed members. Okay, next slide, please. Each day, we've organized plenaries around a theme. Karen mentioned the overall conference theme relates to this idea that indoor air is at this critical juncture, getting a lot of attention due to the COVID-19 pandemic, concern for future pandemics, wildfire smoke, and just an increasing reliance on our built environment to help us manage the issues of climate change and other pressing societal issues. So we're really at this crucial point, and we have two speakers who are going to talk to that on a couple of dimensions here that we think are really crucial for indoor air. So Dr. Odessa Gomez, who's with the Colorado Department of Public Health, will talk about future-proofing healthy indoor air quality in community buildings, and Dr. Marianne Touchy will talk about resident-centric retrofits for social housing, so covering the spectrum of energy to equity. Next slide, please. Tuesday, we're going to focus on health. Health is obviously a major driver for why we care about indoor air. We have two great speakers. Dr. Matt Perzanowski will talk about disparities in neighborhood asthma prevalence, looking specifically in New York City, but obviously an issue with worldwide impact. Much of our exposure to air pollution happens indoors, and asthma is a major health outcome that we as a society care about. So it would be great to hear from Dr. Perzanowski about that. Dr. Patricia Fabian is talking about heat. So heat is huge. Heat is, one of the major threats that we're faced with moving forward. And, heat waves result in a lot of excess mortality. I learned that a couple of years ago to a degree that shocked me. Maybe I should have known that prior, but I think this will be eye-opening for folks who maybe are thinking about air quality and should also be thinking about heat. And I'll mention Dr. Fabian's also hosting a really nice symposium later in the conference as well. Next slide, please. Policy. So how do we take all of our great science and affect change? So we have two great speakers who are going to talk about policy. Dr. Dave Jacobs, who's coming to us from the National Center for Healthy Housing, I believe, chief scientist, and is going to talk about their experience with lead poisoning prevention, and how we can think about some of the lessons learned from that. What I understand is, a long history there of trying to work to reduce lead poisoning, and how we might think of taking from those lessons learned and applying them to indoor air. Dr. Kath Noakes, who's done a lot of great work during and prior to the COVID-19 pandemic, is going to be talking about her work on infection resilient environments and how to translate that to practice. Next slide, please. Thursday. So we're coming full circle, talking about how to sustain the indoor air revolution. So on Monday, we're kicking off with this idea of an indoor air revolution. And Thursday, we want to leave you just as invigorated as you came, with two great speakers. We'll talk about how to sustain the idea of an indoor air revolution. And hopefully you feel invigorated as you leave the conference to do so. So we have Dr. Jim Zhang, who's going to talk about this idea of the complexity of indoor environments from the standpoint of too many pollutants to measure. How can we find surrogates to allow us to inform our understanding of health consequences without maybe needing to always measure everything, right? That's a great ideal, but perhaps not always viable. And then thermal comfort, sort of going back to our concept of heat. One of the major reasons we go indoors is to maintain thermal comfort. So Dr. Shinichi Tanabe, who's been a leader in that field for a long time, will share his thoughts on thermal comfort for the next generation. So really excited about these plenaries. Make sure you're up, and like Karen said, we're going to try and run a very tight schedule at Indoor Air. So get there on time so you can hear everything that these esteemed, distinguished speakers have to say about the state of the research in our field. So finally, we have closing ceremony talks to wrap up the conference at the end of the day on Thursday. So Dr. Carrie Kenny, the incoming president of ISIAC, Dr. Richard Corsi, who's hosted Indoor Air 2012 and has also been a leader in ISIAC for a long time, are going to close the Indoor Air ceremony. Dr. Corsi in particular is going to give a talk that relates to the future of indoor air science. I understand he's going to talk some about his work with the Corsi-Rosenthal box, as well as his decades of experience in trying to just motivate and invigorate the idea that we sustain this indoor air revolution and look ahead to what the future of our field might hold, which I'm sure Dr. Corsi will do a great job, as he always does. Excited to hear from Dr. Carrie Kenny as well. They work together at the University of Texas. So we're really excited to have these two as a tag team to end the conference, two really important leaders in our field who have worked together closely for a long time. Next slide, please. Okay, so coming back to some of the other features of the conference, we talked about the remote track. I don't think we need to go over this again. If there are questions, do put them into the chat. But again, just to reiterate, we do have this remote track. So make sure you're considering joining the remote track, whether you're in person or remote. We have a series of virtual posters and virtual presentations that you'll be able to access. Next slide, please. So for accessibility,
let me add one thing real quick. The remote track content, the nice thing is if you have missed in-person events as well, we're inviting all in-person presenters to optionally upload their content onto our platform too. So say you have a presentation or a poster in person, you can actually follow the instructions online and upload that. And all that content will be available on the platform to access until September 22nd. So if you have two sessions occurring at the same time and you really want to go to both, hopefully if the speakers have posted that online, you can pick one and view the other later too.
Great, thanks, Karen. So for accessibility, everything in Ballroom B, which will include the plenaries and will include our feature track, will be captioned. And so you'll have the option to log in with a device that you can enable captions, and you'll be able to read what the speakers are saying. So we have a consultant who's going to come in and do the captioning. So this will be a legitimate captioning service and should enable, accessibility for those who need captioning. If you're posting videos online, like Karen just mentioned, we encourage you to enable that or try to provide for that. And if you have specific requirements or needs there, do reach out to us, and we'll do everything we can to accommodate. So some special events we'll go through quickly. I mentioned that we have a lot of other content that we've organized in addition to the traditional series of talks. So we have a career lunch on Monday, our innovation network, the ISIAC annual general meeting. ISIAC has a new journal, or new-ish, called Indoor Environments, so there'll be a chance to learn about that new journal. And we have some career development formats, a networking and mentor lunch specifically. So next couple of slides, we can see a little bit more detail on those. So our innovation network meetings will launch at 5 p.m. in rooms 313 A, B, and C. So when you get to the convention center, you'll be able to get the sort of lay of the land. But again, this is a chance to be part of the launch of new research collaboratives that are going to be operated through ISIAC for the coming years. So a great chance to learn about what's going to happen there and to get started, get involved at the ground floor. Next slide, please. So Tuesday, in the lunch hour, we have the ISIAC AGM annual general membership. And this is open to everyone, a chance to learn about what's happening at ISIAC, what's going on with the society, and meet the former and new leaders of ISIAC. So again, something I think, if you're not familiar with indoor air, you might wonder, what's AGM? Am I allowed? Yes, you're allowed to go. Please go. It's a great chance to learn more about ISIAC.
And that'll be located up in Ballroom B, so that plenary room up on the 4th floor.
Next slide, please. So we have a series of things available for students. Much of this is through ISIAC. So check out at the QR code some of the ongoing opportunities for students that are managed through ISIAC: mentorship, publications, leadership opportunities, travel awards to conferences. ISIAC does a lot for students, and so if you're a student, definitely check it out and make sure you're taking advantage as you're able to of the services that ISIAC provides for you. Next slide, please. So we have a new journal, so Indoor Environments, which I do really like the logo of the front of the journal. So whoever did that, nice job. Excited about the new journal. Check it out. ISIAC members have discounts for publishing at Indoor Environments. For a while, it was, open access was covered, or the fees were waived for a while. I think that might be ending. But I think ISIAC is committed to this journal, launching this journal, making it successful. We have a great, editorial board and associate editors associated with this journal. I think it's going to be a success based on, what's going into it and who's involved. So definitely put this journal on your radar. It's the journal that ISIAC is, engaged with and associated with. Next slide, please. So we have some career development sessions, including a job candidate poster session on Tuesday. So there's folks who are actively looking for jobs, and we want to try and incorporate this into the conference and make people who are, hiring aware of this, so that they come and check out the great candidates in our community and have a chance to just informally meet them and talk with them, get to know them, and see if there might be a good fit. So check out this job candidate poster session. You'll meet some of the sort of rising stars in our community and have a chance to see what they're working on and how you might interact with them, work with them, and ideally either point them to, or if you're hiring, consider hiring them to join your group. Next slide, please. The other features we have are we're calling masterclass. This previously was called summer school, but we pivoted this a little bit to try and make it something that was reflective of the fact that we're all continually learning. So much is happening in our indoor air revolution that it can be hard to keep up. And we wanted to frame this as a sort of continuing education opportunity for everyone. So students certainly would benefit a great deal from our masterclass, but these topics are moving very rapidly in our field. And we really think anyone would benefit from attending these sessions. So that was why we reframed this a little bit as a master class, and also to reflect the fact that we have really world-renowned experts coming in to talk on these topics. So we have a first session about air quality monitors that are available on the commercial market, and practices for installation, operation, maintenance of sensors. Probably sensors are, a huge topic in our field. Just an explosion of interest in lower cost and distributed sensors. So Jeff Siegel from the University of Toronto and Julian Stamatakis is from Attune Corporation are going to be tag teaming that first masterclass tutorial. The second is on new approaches for managing disinfection of indoor air via UV 254 and UV 222 in occupied spaces. So Dr. Poppendiek from NIST and Michael Clark from NIST, or Michael Clark of, Far UV Technologies, are going to be discussing UV indoors. We have other sessions I've already mentioned during the conference as well, so this would be a great chance if you have not kept up with UV, you can get the lay of the land in the master class and then go see the cutting edge research that's going to be presented in the conference as well.
Yeah, these are going to be great. I'm super excited about these. If we have a lot to do on Sunday, I would go to these if I, if we, we're going to be prepping everything else, but I would go to these if I could.
Yeah, I'm hoping I can go check in on, make sure everybody's okay in the master class, because like you said, I'm excited about them too. So yeah, I'm sorry to miss most of them or all of them.
That might be happening. Yeah, we'll check in, make sure it's all okay, right?
That's right.
Hang out in the back a little bit, make sure it stays okay. So also I wanted to mention, I got a question in the chat. This is kind of last chance to sign up for a master class, because we have to get in all the additional food orders and everything. So the last day to sign up is tomorrow, June 27th. So I would sign up as soon as possible if this is something that you want to go to. So just wanted to mention that as well. Also the last chance for the luau is tomorrow. I'll be talking about that a little bit.
Yeah, great. And just, if you do have questions, try to just send them to everyone in the chat. I mean, if you like Karen and want to talk to Karen, I get it, but I'm starting to feel a little bad here because it seems like all the questions are going straight to Karen. But if you're able to send them to everyone, and then, when Karen's talking, I can help interject or someone else can help interject. But obviously, if you want to talk to Karen, you can talk to Karen.
I'm just not as scary, Elliott.
I know it's early in the morning for me, so clearly that's showing. Yeah. Okay, so last couple of things here. Mentorship opportunities. I think we mentioned this. This provides some links to some resources for networking and mentorship opportunities for students. There's some communities organized by the ISIAC and Indoor Air. Your peers, your student peers that you can link with. Find travel buddies. So check these out. Especially if you're a student, to try and come to the conference ready to meet and interact with other folks that probably be your colleagues for a long time. Okay, next slide, please. Attire. Some just general thoughts and recommendations for attire. Indoor Air tends to be sort of business or smart casual. Folks don't wear the tuxedos to Indoor Air, but most folks do dress up a little bit. So we're sort of calling that smart casual. We are going to be in Hawaii. It might be hot. So, you'll notice on the left, we intentionally included a picture that has someone sort of dressed up nicely in a pair of shorts. So, okay, if you'd like to do that. But most folks just sort of, from past experience, dress up a little bit to Indoor Air. Smart casual is probably what you'd be thinking about. We're going to be in Hawaii. If you have a Hawaiian shirt, we're going to put that firmly in the camp of smart casual for a conference in Hawaii. So that's your, always acceptable. Wear your Hawaiian shirt there.
And you got to bring it for the luau, right? You got to have,
Yeah.
You have one. Yep.
All right. So I think Karen, you're going to take back over from here. Yeah.
Sure, sure. Yeah, so we wanted to talk a little bit about what the food's going to be like there. So each day, Monday through Thursday, is going to start with a light breakfast. This breakfast is going to be fine for most people. If you are somebody who wants a big breakfast, bacon, eggs, sandwich, biscuit, muffin, etc., you might want to eat a little bit beforehand. But we will have a light breakfast that should be, should be good for most people on those days. Most of the lunches are going to be these adorable little bento boxes. I'm super excited about them. They're Hawaiian themed. You can see a picture of them over here. Each day they'll include 2 different proteins, as well as some sides, some rice, some tamago, some pickled veggies, something like that. And those will rotate throughout the conference. So there'll be different proteins, 2 different proteins included in each day. We will also be able to accommodate any meal restrictions. If you do have restrictions, if you could please let us know like as soon as possible. Hopefully you did enter that information during registration. Please make sure that is entered in there. If you do have any of those food restrictions that you need to be aware of, there will be vegetarian options for those who did enter that information into their registration. And we will make sure that those have proteins, and those are also rotating proteins, as well as we'll also accommodate other things that need to be accommodated. Just let us know, please, as soon as possible. We will have bento boxes most of the days except for Tuesday, when we will break it up a little bit with a salad and sandwich bar, which should be nice and a nice way to change that over. On Tuesday during the lunch, that is the AGM meeting for ISIAC. So every day you're going to be grabbing your lunch on that 3rd floor main hallway. But on Tuesday, if you are going to the AGM, we will have a separate lunch set up upstairs right outside that ballroom B, that main plenary room. So just head up there and grab your salad and sandwich right outside that room. So we're hoping that everybody can move through that line relatively quickly and get into the room to hear the AGM. But so pretty much every day, grab your lunch on the 3rd floor in that main area. The one exception being if you're going to the AGM on Tuesday, grab your salad and sandwich upstairs as you enter the room. We also have a lot of the evening pre-dinner receptions, which should be a great place to sort of attend these mixers, mix with people, meet people. Those are pre-dinner receptions, so they're kind of like light snacks or hors d'oeuvres. They're not meant to be like a full dinner or anything, but they are a great place to meet up with people. If you want to make arrangements to go to dinner with some folks, network, things like that, that's a great place to just meet up with people and make some good dinner plans as well. I'll be talking a little bit through the social programs, so some of the social events that we're going to be having. This includes the opening reception on Sunday. That's at the convention center. That's the one social event at the convention center. The student professional mixer, that's going to be at the Hilton on Monday night. The sunrise run on Tuesday. The luau, again, last chance for luau tickets. It's going to be this amazing networking opportunity. Must be purchased by tomorrow. And then indoors go out on Wednesday, and some other optional events I'll talk about. So I'll talk a little bit about each of these. So their opening reception on Sunday, this is going to be right after the opening ceremony. After the ceremony is over, we're going to go out into the foyer at the convention center, and you'll also be able to access the rooftop and see the Hawaiian sunset, which is going to be super fun. This is a great time to potentially make dinner plans, just mingle with people. Again, this is going to be light snacks available, and again, you must wear a badge. There have been some questions about guest tickets. So what is a guest ticket? A guest ticket is if you have like a significant other or other family member, a friend, or somebody traveling with you who is not attending the conference but would like to come to some of the social events. We're just asking that you cover their food costs, so you can buy individual guest tickets. Those are also going to need to be purchased as soon as possible for events like that. On Monday night, we have the student professional mixer. This, because we have such a large group, did need to be in 2 different locations. They're really going to be pretty much the same. So you can go to one location, go to the other, or travel between them as you wish. Again, this is going to be kind of like light snacks or hors d'oeuvres type thing. So, pre-dinner, come meet up with some new or old friends and make some dinner plans. So this is going to be a really nice event to come to. This one is at the Hilton Hawaiian Village, both on the Village Green and in the Rainbow Patio Suite. So again, feel free to move between those locations as you wish at the event. We'll have the sunrise one on Tuesday. Look for some more information on this, but this will be a event where all are welcome to come, and we'll have a great little map where you can run through some nice areas in Honolulu. And that's going to be on Tuesday morning. Again, the luau is ticketed, so you do need to add it to your registration. It's $195. It should be a really great event. We'll have this really nice buffet of food, Hawaiian themed food. There will be vegetarian options there as well, and then there will be some Hawaiian entertainment. Also some really great entertainment. Sprinkled throughout the evening. So that should be really fun, a really fun event, fantastic networking. Again, if you do want to attend the luau, add it as soon as possible. The tickets must be purchased for your registration by tomorrow. There are instructions in prior emails about how to add a ticket to your registration, but if you have any trouble, feel free to just reach out to us at the Indoor Air Gmail. We can also get that added for you if you have any trouble adding that. All right, Indoors Go Out is going to be our event on Wednesday. So you may have noticed from the schedule overview that on Wednesday we are ending the in-person technical sessions a little bit early, and that's so that we can have this really great Indoors Go Out event. It's going to be a really fun way to relax and network with your colleagues. It's going to be located on the Hilton lawn as well as in the main lagoon area, which is right next to the beach at the Hilton Hawaiian Village. So we're going to have the great lawn area where we're going to have some games set out as well as some refreshments. I heard there might be some shaved ice. Should be super fun, a great place to go. I did want to mention that due to safety restrictions in the lagoon area where we'll have a lot of like water sports, paddle boards, volleyball, and stuff like that, that is limited to 200 people at any one time for safety reasons. So just a note that, again, we do have that 200 person limit. So if that's something you're really excited about, just keep that in mind. For this, you can bring your swimsuit if you wish. If you want to go into the lagoon and swim, feel free to bring that. You obviously don't have to. It's totally up to you, but it should be a really, really fun event. You can also just come and hang out on the lawn, have some refreshments and, play some games and mingle with people too. So it should be a really fun event. After that event too, we'll also have some optional events. These are not associated with the conference formally, but you can participate in these things. This includes a sunset cocktail cruise. There's links on our website. So feel free to take a look at those if those are some things that you're interested in. Again, they're not specific to our conference, but feel free to sign up as well. We'll also recommend on Monday morning, if you want to do on your own, you can go on a Diamond Head hike, or you could really do that, whenever you want. It's not that far away. You'll need to arrange for, say, a rideshare or taxi or something to get you over there. But it'll be a really fun place to walk around as well. All right, we wanted to talk a little bit. I know we're just about up on time, but we have just a couple more slides. We did want to give some information for presenters. Again, we are asking for your final slides, your final presentation files to be submitted by June 28th. I'll talk about that more in a minute. For presenters, remember to practice your talk. Hopefully the first time you run through it is not the time that you're actually up there doing it. Make sure you talk slow and don't include a lot of text on your slides. Make sure it's focused on the main points. We are asking all presenters to arrive in their room 15 minutes early to find your session chair. Make sure your files look fun. We will have quality check them if you submit them on time and everything, but make sure they're there, they're showing up fine. Just double check, make sure you ask any questions. A reminder that the podium talks are 10-minute talks with 2 minutes of question and answer. So please make sure you're adhering to that 10-minute time frame. The question and answer is often, I feel like sometimes the best part where you get to hear some really great information. So make sure you leave those 2 minutes for your question and answer. And make sure you do stick to time to be respectful for everyone. If you're one of the first talks and you run overtime, potentially that could take away time from other people's talks later. So make sure that you are sticking to that time to stick to your talk, and again, get your session on time. Here's an upload link as well. Again, the final slide deadline is June 28th. The reason for this is technology has changed. And so it used to be just one file per podium. Now we have, multiple files that include what we're posting online to the feed loop site for remote track presenters, as well as in person who might want to look at it later. Posters have multiple files, things like that. We're anticipating over 2,000 files that we're going to have to process and quality check. So please, please, please help us out by getting us your final slides this Friday, June 28th. I know it's coming up early. We have gotten some questions come in about, hey, what if I have an update to my files later? Can I update that? I will say we will try our best. Again, we're going to have 2,000 files to process. So if you get it to us by June 20th, we can really help you out, because that means we can make sure everything's done right. We can quality check your file. Everything is consistent with the technology that we have. We can make sure it gets in the right location. If you do have an update after that, we will try our best, but please remember, if everyone has an update after that, we're going to be, really, really swamped with stuff. So again, please get us your final file by this Friday, June 28th. Okay, so slides, be really careful if it looks like this. This is probably my favorite slide of the whole presentation. You're probably a little bit in trouble. We have this kind of ambiguous title up here, a whole lot of text. If you read this, hey, by the time to get to the bottom, did you hear anything I said? This is extremely distracting to the audience. Don't do this. This tiny little figure over here, nobody could see. Don't make your slides like this. Is my advice. A better looking slide is something like this. You have a big title at the top. Your slide is clear. Feel free to put a whole sentence up here. What's the main point? What's the main point of your slide? Remember, the text is for the audience, not you. If that's on the slide, so you're worried you're not going to forget it, put it in the notes, practice your presentation, make sure it's there. Keep it large and clear. Nice big files. I always like to say, a good way to walk through a figure is to say the x-axis is time, and y-axis is my love of clear slides, or something like that. And then everybody, you kind of know what it looks like. Here's a question. Is there a good place in Hawaii to print a poster? Yes, there actually is a FedEx location very close to where the conference will be at the convention center. Take a look at the formatting document, and we can send that to you if you want, where it has a link to those. There's actually 3 options where you could potentially print a poster in Hawaii. So those are great locations. They are first come, first serve. And so I would contact them as soon as possible to make sure they have the capacity if you do want to print, because I think we're gonna have a lot of people trying to print posters right before the event.
Yeah, click on the chat button if you don't have it open, and I provided the link so that you can go see the in-person poster presentation section of that link. And there are 3, like Karen mentioned, that we've looked into listed there.
Awesome. Thank you, Elliott. This is what the room is going to look like for poster presentations. So we'll have the poster presentation lines here, as well as some round tables for some of the other events over here, and as a projector and stuff like that. I really like these new poster formats where they really emphasize the main finding and the main point. There's a link to how to make these kind of newer style posters also in that formatting guide as well, if that's something you're interested in. You should bring the poster that you're comfortable with. So, if you want to use the more traditional format, feel free to go for that, or you can also use this newer format as well. For the presentations, again, just a reminder for everyone, use big font. These rooms are big. It's really great because we're not going to be super space limited at the convention center, but the rooms are really big. This is just one of the breakout rooms that I pulled out. This seats 185 chairs in this kind of classroom style where we have the tables in front of the chairs. Someone in the way back here, make sure your font is big enough that they're going to be able to read anything. And again, you can stay away from a lot of text on those slides, and that'll help. As a pro tip at this conference, because these rooms are so big, make sure that you sit towards the front, kind of like, it's okay, you know, people are going to be switching between sessions during breakout sessions. It's okay, walk up towards the front, sit there, and make sure you engage. It's a great place to ask questions. The rooms are air conditioned. So again, the hallway is open air, but the rooms are air conditioned. So feel free, if you're someone who gets cold, feel free to bring a cardigan, a jacket, something, just in case you get a little bit chilly in the rooms. So again, we have a great schedule for you all. We're really, really excited to have this conference coming up so soon. We're so excited for all the events. It's really going to be fantastic. And the thing that's honestly going to make it the most special and memorable is you all the attendees, everybody coming, attending, engaging, making presentations, presenting posters, you know, engaging with others, asking questions, meeting people. It's really going to be a great event to bring our indoor air community together. So we're really excited about it. So thank you again for attending. We're really looking forward to seeing you soon in Honolulu. And if you wish, Elliott and I can also hang out a little bit and answer any additional questions that come up. So thank you. All right, and I see a question in the chat. Do people with a poster presentation get some time to pitch their poster at the end of a session or beginning of a poster session? That's a great question. We actually have an opportunity to put those poster pitches on our platform. So that's a great place to do that. And then people can go access it there. So you have the opportunity to post your poster on our platform, as well as a 3-minute video, which will basically make your pitch and make sure that that's accessible to everybody who would like to see it. Great question. All right. Other questions? And if you want to ask it in person at this point in the talk, you can also go ahead and unmute. I'm fine with that too.
Seems like we nailed it.
I think we got a lot of those questions. Well, thank you so much, everybody, for attending. For those who asked, who asked any questions, and just for being here today. If you do have additional questions that come up, you can also email us at the indoorair2024@gmail.com email address. That's usually Elliott or me or one of our student helpers or communication, Lauren, who is going to be answering those emails. So we're happy to help you out there. And again, there will be a copy of this presentation posted to the ISIAC website. We're also happy to share these slides there for your reference. The website and Feedloop are also great resources. Again, Feedloop will be available starting on July 1st. You can go in there, and then you can also access the website in the meantime for any information. But yeah, thank you so much again for attending. Thank you to ISIAC for allowing us to host this informational webinar. And we hope you enjoyed it. We're looking forward to seeing you in Honolulu.
Thank you, everyone.